Question number 10, Marama Davidson.
I te māngai o te whare tēnā koe. Ko taku pātai ki te minita whare āhuru a ka uiui. Ka tū ā ia I runga I te mana o tōna whakaaetanga I tuhia, kua he kē atu te kore-whare I raro I ngā whakahaere o Te Kāwanatanga nei.
Mr Speaker.
The Honourable Paula Bennett.
Yes, in the context that they were given.
Supplementary.
A supplementary question, Marama Davidson.
Exactly how many people has her proposals, have all of her proposals actually removed from their inadequate housing situation and put in a decent home?
Mr Speaker.
The Honourable Paula Bennett.
Mr Speaker, without that question on notice, the best answer I can give the member is that we house about 150 people each week.
Supplementary?
Supplementary question, Marama Davidson.
So, given there are 42,000 New Zealanders facing severe housing deprivation, why did the government wait for years while the homelessness crisis got this bad before doing anything?
Well, Mr Speaker,
the Honourable Paula
Mr
Bennett.
Speaker, I thank the member for acknowledging the huge work programme that's going on at the moment and has been for the last 2 or 3 years. So as we've said, we do have an increase in demand and we've had supply issues. What we've done is fast-tracked all of that work. We're seeing more permanent housing through social houses and also for the first time an emphasis on increasing emergency housing beds as well.
Supplementary?
A supplementary question, Marama Davidson.
What is her response to the community housing providers who told the cross-party homelessness inquiry that the government's make-it-up-as-you-go-along approach to housing policy was difficult to work with and they needed secure, stable funding over a period of up to 10 years?
Mr Speaker.
Honourable Paula Bennett.
Well, Mr Speaker, I imagine that they were very pleased with the announcement that was made this week, which showed that they could then get up to a 50% grant for building new premises and also leasing current ones, and equally still get the income-related rent, which this government introduced to community housing providers that they were unable to get before, which gives them a certainty of income on a weekly basis and will help them provide services.
Supplementary question, Marama Davidson.
How can she say the government is taking this problem seriously when the MSD household incomes report out today shows that 110,000 children are living in overcrowded conditions, including 1 in every 5 Māori children and 2 in every 5 Pasifika children?
Mr Speaker.
The Honourable
Mr Speaker, that's why our focus is on getting more places, more beds every single day. We're making progress in that area and it's a key focus for this government.
Supplementary question, Marama Fox.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. Will the Minister consider allowing community housing providers to apply discretion to award income-related rents to current tenants so that they will avoid being evicted, not being able to pay the rent, and only to come back and then have the IRR apply?
Well, Mr Speaker,
the Honourable Paula
there's
Bennett.
2 parts to that question. So one part of the question is, one answer is that we've now introduced that fund where we can help tenants who are getting into arrears. Instead of them leading to eviction, we can then put an iwi or a community housing provider alongside of them to actually help them get through that and not get evicted. The other part is, at this, there is discretion under certain circumstances that's quite tight for those that currently aren't eligible for the IRR because they were in the place previous to it coming over.
Question